Live from New York. It's a show that was a little bit upset that the Blue Jays won. I'm happy for everyone in Toronto. But me and my friends that I have made in Washington State, devastated.
Can I tell you what I was upset about?
It was a tough loss.
Because listen, I picked the Mariners, but I'm happy for the Blue Jays. I'm really upset that he swung at that. Because we would have gotten Cal with a man on in the bottom of the ninth and 2 outs for a chance to send his team to the first World Series ever. That would have, it's just the iconic moment that we were one taken pitch away from getting and seeing it.
I'm shocked he did it because he's had a really nice series.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, Springer is a postseason legend, and he had his moment, but I just wanted to see Cal at the plate.
He's gonna hit 2 home runs in one game?
Well,
We start with a confidence-boosting win for Detroit. Depleted secondary was buoyed by subs while Jameer Gibbs ran wild on the Bucs. 218 total, 2 touchdowns. Dan Campbell, you're not going to believe this, fired up postgame. I love Dan Campbell at this point. What did the Lions prove last night?
That Dan Campbell is a heck of a coach and has created a great culture. All right. They needed to come back and make a statement after that loss to the Chiefs. All right. Now, they haven't lost back-to-back games in 3 years. October 30th, 2022, I think was their last. And that's when they were 9-8.
Yeah.
Since they've become an elite team, they have not lost back-to-back games. And they did it with, I'm saying their 4 starters in the defensive backfield were out, but it was like 5 of their top defensive backs were out.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by the culture. Like, when you don't have your starters, we've talked about a lot of teams not having players, Baltimore, Kansas City, all these teams that don't have Tampa Bay that's had injuries. And for them to go out there and hold right now, in most people's opinion, certainly going into that game, the league MVP to his worst game of the season. I get it, they had injuries, but Ibuka played. Mike Evans was there for about half the game. To do what they did to that Tampa Bay offense, I think was impressive. And again, to me, it speaks about their culture, their depth. They're not like Goff is very good, but he's not Patrick. He's not Josh. We know he's not in that top tier where it's your quarterback kind of carrying you. He is a very good player who's part of a great team, and they showed it yesterday with their depth and then the versatility of the way they did it. We've seen it be David Montgomery. Last night it was Jameer Gibbs. So, look, they did what they needed to do, Nick. Obviously, they're still disappointed about losing to the Chiefs, but to come out and beat another top team is all you can do in that situation.
Yes, and oddly, because they played this well with an even more injury-ravaged team than they played the Chiefs, it almost removes some of the excuses some folks were trying to make for them a week ago about, well, what do you want them to do undermanned defensively? We kind of showed, they showed you what people would have wanted them to do. Now, holding a team to 9 points is impressive, no matter the scenario, especially a team that has been as prolific offensively as Tampa's been. I thought that was a massive bounce-back spot that I did not know that they were mentally going to be ready for. Now, as far as them being upset about the officiating and stuff from a week ago, I think after last night, Lions fans can feel like we're about even. Like that
maybe they'll think complaining.
that maybe my crazy hot take for the last 5 years, which is the NFL is not slanted towards one team. The NFL is very hard to officiate, and if you're on national TV, you're going to have 3 or 4 calls any game that are going to be like, wow, that seems like they got it wrong, because it's a standalone game. Everyone's focused on it. Yesterday, if you're Tampa, you're probably upset about the double review and the interception we're showing. But Detroit thoroughly outplayed them. Detroit deserved to win that game. And had they lost, they're 4-3.
Yeah.
Don't have a tiebreaker head-to-head with Green Bay. Don't have a tiebreaker with Tampa. And Tampa's sitting at 1 loss. Now it's flipped to where I know Detroit is not right now in first place in the standings, but because they have that tiebreaker with Tampa and because of how they've been playing offensively post week 1 and they get Green Bay again, they feel to me like they are the favorites for the 1 seed as we sit here today. I think the NFC West is going to beat each other up with 3 teams with at 5-2, so I think that's great. Here would be my one piece of concern for the Lions that I think we saw last night. They are incredibly reliant, understandably, on their great skill position players, most notably Jahmyr Gibbs, who reminds me of a guy we were talking about off the air the other day, Jamal Charles. Just the speed and power, and as a receiver and a running back, just a great player. I think Jamal's one of the greatest players in Chiefs history, and Jahmyr Gibbs reminds me of him a lot. Goff has, to me, even though the numbers haven't shown it, looked a little shakier this year than last year because they don't have as stout as an offensive line, and I think you saw that at times in the Chiefs game, and you certainly saw it at times last night. So that would be the one, but with them, but that was a huge win, and a win where they can, to me, particularly after the illegal contact that then it was Jahmyr Gibbs' 80-yard run the very next play, controlled the lion's share of that game.
Lions head into their bye week 5-2. Gibbs ties Barry Sanders for most touchdowns for a Lion through 39 games. Pretty good.
Wow.
News. That legendary.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Tough loss for the Bucs. Baker was off target all night. Mike Evans returned to the lineup, cut short by a broken collarbone and a concussion in the second quarter. Both said he'll miss most of the year, so that's just horrible news. Baker completed only 56% of his passes. You were sounding alarms about this game, Brew. Bad night or a sign of larger issues for Tampa Bay?
Well, both. Obviously, Mike Evans is out for maybe most of the rest of the season, if not longer. So that hurts you. And I think it was a bad sign. Look, they're going to win their division. I thought Atlanta might challenge them, but Atlanta just seems to be up and down. You don't know.
Carolina's only a game back.
Look, I don't think they're as good as they're not going to beat Tampa Bay, but they're improving. So I see improvement there. But they're going to win that division. But honestly, I think they are what they have been these last few years.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. They're a very good team.
Feisty.
A legit playoff team without question. I don't think they're as good as the Philadelphias, the Detroits, the Green Bays, especially if Green Bay plays closer to its potential. And so I think, and the Rams, I would put them slightly below those four teams. They're good. So what I would say to them is they better get home field advantage. You've been talking, they do have the easier schedule. If you look at their schedule.
The next four are tough, and then it's
well, New Orleans, which, you know, is not but you got to play them hard. But they got the three after that are tough. And then they, those games won't. You still got to play hard, but you should win that last row.
Well, that's the
thing,
bro.
At least all but one. So they got, to me, they have to get, Nick, the home field advantage.
The one seed, you're saying?
Well, I mean, to have a real chance to win the Super Bowl, I would say yes. Or to get to the Super Bowl. I just don't think they're quite as good as those upper echelon teams.
I mean, we saw them play Philly. I know they lost. That game was, a 51-49 game. So I don't think it's fair to say they are not on par with the Rams or the Eagles. It's hard for me to say right now they're on par with Detroit because they just played in Detroit, beat them soundly. I know Philly beat them as well, but that, like we said, that game came down to the final moments. What they have working for them is they have a meaty 5-2 record, and that of all the league, of all the teams with a winning record, only Philly and Jacksonville have faced a tougher schedule. So when you see who they've beaten, they have beaten winning teams, and I know it's been close.
It's not incredibly I mean, you're right. But Seattle is their best win.
And throw their schedule up there again. San Francisco's 5-2. Seattle's 5-2. The Jets are obviously terrible.
Houston, the Jets,
and Atlanta's
maybe
league average team, right? And Philadelphia came down. They haven't played, aside from the Jets, any walkovers, we feel. Houston's weird because they have the number one defense in football and just a terrible, terrible offense. So I think that works in their favor. The Mike Evans thing is a big deal, and his historic streak of 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons is obviously over. But broken collarbone, he should be back for the playoffs. And to your point about their schedule, if they can just go 2-2 in the next four, which is beat the Saints and then go 1-2, Patriots, Bills, Rams, which I think is totally reasonable. Then you're 7-4 going into that last stretch, And I think the 1 seed, which was my biggest reason for picking them to go to the Super Bowl, was I thought they had a great chance at the 1 seed and people were undervaluing it. I also think that they are going to get in-season boosts by all these guys returning. Not Evans is who I'm talking about here. Multiple offensive linemen injured. Bucky Irving injured.
Sure.
Godwin, Abuka got banged up at one point, and they sustained it. So I'm not going to, when I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, 5-2 through this first 7, I just signed up for that. Yeah, and so it feels bad because of last night, but I think they're a really good team, and I think they had a pretty bad game that with some bad breaks go against them yesterday. So you guys know how much I like the Rams. I don't think the Rams are better than them, and I don't know that Philly is too hot and cold for me to definitively say that.
Certainly Philly at its best, but you might not get that. But you don't want to play them. I mean, because Baker, and Baker will play well in the playoffs too.
Yes.
But I just don't think overall they're as good as those other teams.
This stat that Josh gave me is the hot sauce that is slightly too hot of stats.
Okay.
Where it's like you have a hot sauce, like that's good. And then you have some hot sauce, you're like, that's a little too hot for me. Yeah. But I kind of like it, but I kind of dislike it. If games ended with 90 seconds left, this is what you were talking about, of just playing with fire, Brew. It's Titans, Bucs, Bengals, Dolphins, Saints, Jets, Raiders. It's a weird stat.
None of those other teams are any good.
No, I don't know if I like it. If you can look at it through the prism of sense. This is a great team and he knows how to win, or you can look at it through I don't know. They're the only first-place team that has a negative total points
They're -1 for the season.
That matters to me. I think it's an indicator.
So when it comes to point differential and a stat like this, it reminds me of a first cousin of a stat for a team that made the Super Bowl last year, which is, do you remember what was going around? Record of teams if you flipped 1-score games. If your 1-score losses were wins and your 1-score wins were losses last year, that was the stat that showed you the Chiefs would have gone 4-13. And so that was, and that Chiefs, and I'm not saying this is the Chiefs of last year, that team made the Super Bowl.
It's a weird stat.
They have not blown people out, and Baker early in the year was having these slow starts and then playing well late. I just think that they are one of the only teams in the league, San Francisco's proving it as well, that could have this level of cluster injuries and still be 5-2.
Yeah,
Lions. The Lions injuries to me are just the last. It's really for them the last 2 weeks, and they're 1-1 in that stretch. The Bucs have been banged up from basically the first game of the season, and then getting more banged up. And I do think they'll be able to sustain the Mike Evans injury. That is something Baker gets credit for, building up these other receivers. 7th-round pick Tez Johnson is playing well. Shepard.
MVP candidate.
He thought he was. And Abuka's obviously been a great rookie. So I think that they are still a top-tier NFC contender.
Just quickly, I saw this stat. I'll play a quick game of something or nothing out the door. Bucs are 23-10 with Baker not in prime time. Baker's now 1-7 in prime time. That hits your radar or something?
Wait, hold on. The Bucs franchise, you're saying?
Baker starting 23-10 when he's not playing in prime time. He's 1-7 in prime time games.
Here's where it hits me. Nothing against Baker, because Baker obviously is not worried about prime time or big games. It hits me as their prime time games are probably against elite teams for the most part. And that's where
they're not
just
the elite
not
team
quite
that
right.
some little team is playing.
That last point, that's exactly how I would have put it. Prior to this year, if the Bucs were on prime time, it meant they had to be playing one of the 3 best teams in the league. Aside from, I think they had a Thursday night game last year against Atlanta that was a crazy overtime finish at the end. But the Bucs, post Brady, have not been a marquee team. So if they're on prime time, it's because good example, last year Chiefs, the overtime game when Chiefs won the toss and Baker felt all sad. They're only playing these elite teams because the Bucs haven't been a big draw.
Bucs in New Orleans Sunday on Fox. New Orleans is going to win a game.
They've already won a game.
Another game.
Not this week. They're not going to beat the Bucs.
They're kind of they're not quite I don't think as good as Arizona, but they're one of those teams that you don't want to take them lightly.
They also might be coming off their worst game of the year.
Bounce back opportunity.
Yeah, and so, no, I think that the Bucs get this win, stabilize at 6-2 going into the bye, and then have a really tough stretch. New England, Buffalo, and the Rams.
I just love that New England. That we have moved from, you got the Patriots.
Yeah,
like New England.
And for you guys, are the Bucs, other than Buffalo, the only good team you play all year?
Yes, and it's a revenge game. Tom Brady revenge game.
Okay.
Not even there. Gronkowski revenge game. Blue Jays headed to the World Series, courtesy of a 3-run home run in the 7th inning off the bat of George Springer, who added a little Joe Carter-esque hop as he headed to first. Game 1 Friday in Toronto on Fox. What are the chances the Blue Jays upset the mighty Dodgers?
Look, it's baseball. I mean, so it is a fickle sport. If a team gets hot or goes into a slump, anything could happen. But I feel strongly the Dodgers win this. And look, they're going to be one of the best teams. You know, the first team to repeat since the Yankees had a three-peat in 98 through 2000. So first team this century, really, to repeat. And then I look at their lineup, and I know, look, Toronto is full of hitters. I mean, they're almost hitting 300 in the postseason. But, you know, Shohei, Mookie, Freddie Freeman, Hernandez, both Hernandez. They got Enrique Hernandez in batting eighth.
Yeah, I don't even think you mentioned. Oh, you said Betts. Yeah.
Like, so, and then the pitching, here's the thing in the postseason. Toronto has given up 47 earned runs in 11 postseason games. The Dodgers have given up 25 earned runs in 10 postseason games.
Is that their starters or their whole pitching staff?
The whole staff. So that's just one less game. So I just think the Dodgers are a better all-around team, and they're playing for destiny, so I think they're going to go ahead and win this.
I'm going to go with the Blue Jays.
Love it. Love that we've got, because you want to kind of go for the Dodgers, but I like you taking the underdog.
Well, listen, I mean, it's weird because I picked the Mariners last night, but that was purely what I thought was a coin flip game, and I wanted the team that's never been to a World Series to make it. There was no great analysis on it. I just thought coin flip, I'll pick what I'm rooting for. This is a little different because one thing the Blue Jays do have going for them is they should be getting Bo Bichette back, who was excellent for them this year. They haven't had him the whole postseason, so that's a positive. Vladdy is obviously on fire. I think that really matters. George Springer is third in baseball history in playoff home runs. Third in playoff history.
They play more games.
I mean, Babe Ruth is basically ineligible because he could only play in World Series games. But number one is Manny Ramirez.
Heck yeah.
Number 2 is one of Springer's teammates with the Astros, Jose Altuve. And number 3 is George Springer. He also is a former World Series MVP. And this year, when he'd kind of been disappointing with the Blue Jays, hit .310 for him, and during the regular season, arguably was, if not the most important player, one of their most important or consistent players. And then you do have this anvil looming for the Dodgers, which we talked about all year, which is they have a really, really bad bullpen. The starting pitching's been great. And so this is the Dodgers bullpen. It hasn't, and that includes the playoffs. Here's why I think that could matter. The Blue Jays play a style of baseball that's kind of similar to my Royals a decade ago. It's not about hitting a bunch of bombs. It's about putting the ball in play. So here's the Blue Jays ranks this year. Shout out Coach Mangini in important stats that I think could get Dodgers starters out of the game. First in baseball in batting average, first in on base, first in hits, and the lowest strikeout percentage. So if you can just stick around, get guys on base even if you're not scoring big early, and get to the Dodgers bullpen, I think it could cause real stress for them. And so I think the Blue Jays can do it.
Brew, we had that stat that we were kicking around last week that the Dodgers starters are up there with like John
it was crazy.
Braves and Christy Mathewson and like the old Dodgers, Fernando's Dodgers. 1.40 ERA, 81 strikeouts, and 10 starts. Just the starts, not the bullpen. is there any part of you that thinks the Dodgers pitching staff is too hot? That they've got to kind of come back? They're not going to be the best pitching staff of all time in the postseason.
Well, like I said, in baseball, like Ohtani, who just had what we think was the best game ever, was 2 for 25 at one point, just a week ago in the
like
stretch.
Vladdy's numbers over the postseason are better.
Vladdy was 0 for 7 in the first 2 games
consistent.
and then won ALCS MVP.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so you can go into a slump or the pitcher, you know, they are a great hitting team,
Yes.
Toronto. We saw that throughout this whole postseason. We've seen it in regular season. So, I'm going to have confidence in that staff because they have been so great. And I think you talked about the bullpen. Dave Roberts can't be afraid to let the starters go longer.
Yeah.
You know, 7,
Sure.
8, you know, whatever it might take. If they're rolling, let them go rather than going to that bullpen.
And go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm very interested in 2 things, and then we're going to go because we have to get to this Ravens ping pong story. I'm interested to see if the tenor of the country has kind of turned on the Dodgers for being too good. Happens to the Patriots, has now happened to the Chiefs. Dave Roberts is like, we're ruining baseball. Let's win 4 more and ruin baseball. So there's a little bit like, you guys are too good. We're going to root for the Blue Jays. The second thing I'm wondering is this too much? Are the Blue Jays having too much fun, and have they spent too much money on the club in their locker room? They had a disco ball.
I like it.
And Brew referred to it as a discoteca. So
I mean, that shows you, Nick, how serious these teams take these celebrations.
And also, if the World Series started tomorrow,
I was like, where is that?
I'd be a little worried. But they have till Friday, so that, 24-hour hangover is not that bad. I don't think that America's soured on the Dodgers because they won in the pandemic year and they won last year.
They're very likable
They're there
team.
every year, but they haven't felt inevitable. And because up until last year, they were kind of known as a postseason underachiever.
Yeah.
They had going into last year's World Series, they had made 13 consecutive postseasons and won 1 World Series. Into the World Series, we were like, pandemic.
Right.
So if they win this and they win it easily, then I think that happens. But right now, I think people are enthralled with Shohei.
I was going to say, I think Ohtani's being a unicorn changes all that.
But I just think
people just want to see.
I think people like the Jays, and it's like Bo Bichette. That's Dante Bichette's kid. Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Like that.
I mean, people know that's Vlad Guerrero's kid. But like and so it's pretty obvious he's Junior. But it's just, I don't know. I think it's cool.
Tough times in Baltimore, Brew.
This is unbelievable.
Brian Wacker of the Baltimore Sun wrote just an excellent, article on what's going on with the 1-5 Ravens. Lots of culprits, including fun.
Luigi.
Maybe, yes. Brian Wacker writing, when the team returned to Owens Mills after the loss to the Chiefs, the toys had disappeared. The Ravens promptly removed several recreational staples from the locker room. The basketball hoop, how big is this locker room? The ping pong table, cornhole boards, video game consoles. Multiple players told The Sun the decision came from coaching staff who wanted to strip away distractions. Now, this article came out just today. Was it today?
Yeah.
Today. But the toys were removed weeks ago. They then lost 2 more games.
Yeah.
Brew, your reaction to this entire article, and it's a doozy.
What a sign.
Bro.
What a sign.
What is he talking about?
The Ravens and I are on the same page.
This is not.
We are in lockstep.
They lost.
Hear a brother out.
Okay, sorry.
They go and get all the toys out of the locker room. All the fun and games gone. Because it's about business right now.
Yeah.
What did I do? Had no idea they had done this. What did I do?
Great point.
I took that robe, put it away.
That's a great point.
The Jordans, the sandwiches, the chips, the soda pop, the sunglasses, you're gone. Because it is time to put your fist in the dirt
Gee whiz.
and play some real Ravens football. I'm serious.
I know.
We are on the same page, and you can talk. Yes, I know they lost to Houston. Houston put 44 on them.
Yes.
It took them a minute.
Oh.
It took them a minute to get okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a sea change up in here.
Yeah,
all
no
right.
cornhole.
But then what happened?
They lost again.
That's all right, though. They held everybody's All-American.
17 points.
17 points. And I submit it may have been 13 or even 10 had Zay Flowers not given them the ball at the 21-yard line of the Ravens. Okay? And the Rams, what the Rams do, the Rams just played Jacksonville, one of the best defenses in the league, we're told. Taking everything away. Dropped 35 on them.
Yeah.
All right? When the Rams played
now we're
the
doing the Rams
Indians,
stuff.
put 27 on them, 26 on Philadelphia, and the Ravens hold you to 17?
Yeah.
The Ravens held you to your fewest first downs of the season, your fewest total yards of the season, your fewest passing yards of the season. They are back, baby. Assuming Lamar is back.
Yeah.
They are back. And
Okay.
the last thing, John Harbaugh, very smart. Because we know he's been kind of, lately, last several years, a player's coach. Players get.
Exactly.
So instead of going in there knowing I can't all of a sudden, become a hard-nosed, tough guy, yelling, screaming, and all that, he did it this way. I'm going to be the same guy.
Yeah.
Laughing, smiling.
Privileges.
But yeah, I'm taking away all these toys.
Yeah. You show up with your bags ready to play cornhole. Where are the boards?
That's right.
Oh, shoot, I got to
But you
study
get
the
the
playbook.
message. Coach don't have to yell. You just get, okay.
I love the fact that and the idea that you guys are in lockstep. I like that. However, having been in a locker room, having experienced something similar to this is foolish.
Hold on, they took your ping pong table away at a point?
Yeah, look, when you're winning all these extra things, they're not distractions. They're just, we got to
Blow off steam. You gotta decompress.
Now we're losing. Now these are distractions. You can't have, and it makes more sense to me why they got blasted the following week after the Chiefs game.
They were sad.
Because you're treating me like a kid, and so I kind of bucked. You talk about them having a great bounce back in the Rams game, but that following week, it made more sense why I didn't see any heart, why I didn't see the grit following that, because there's a level of rebellion and bucking that takes place when something like that happens. Like, what does that have to do with football? Yeah. This also tells me. This also tells me.
I play Super Smash Brothers.
They don't really know what the issue is over there in Baltimore.
I agree.
What the issue
and can I expand for a moment? Because Brew, if I may steal one of your patented turn of phrases, that was cute. But if we are being honest, Brew, this is the type of team you don't carry hate in your heart, but you should really dislike. They are a silly, soft team.
Oh my gosh.
If I told you,
It's gonna come across the table like that meme.
If this story were about a different one-win team, I don't know, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh wow.
That they took the ping pong tables out. Oh wait, we did that story.
It was just ping pong.
We did that story. It was just ping pong.
We didn't have a basketball.
If this was about a different team who one of their premier defenders after losses is podcasting.
Oof.
Oh, wait, we did that story 100 times. If this were about any team that is grasping while not being able to defend, while getting run over, and it came out that, as it was in the article, that one player Instagrammed their star quarterback playing Super Smash Brothers and said, studying game film, it would not be looked at as a positive sign. So I just think you are looking at this through Ravens-colored glasses, when in reality, this is the type of team you don't like. They're a silly, soft, bad team right now. They are. Okay. Right now, they are.
Take it easy. You're gonna ruin the show.
No, there's just a few differences. Here's the differences.
Yeah.
Tua versus Lamar. Okay?
Okay.
Miami culture, which maybe because of the weather, all that, is a softer culture for team versus Ravens culture.
Yeah.
Like, no, they gonna respond to this, and they did against the Rams. If they had Lamar, they beaten the Rams.
Okay, Greg, I'm going to read you another passage. A defense that has played tentatively and is scared to make even the smallest mistake, and a group of veterans and rookies alike who have struggled to find joy in their work. Something that the NFL has done, or the social media teams have done, is rather than just make available, the post-game press conference, we've gotten a lot of locker room sound. This year, it feels like something has changed. So we show a lot of locker room sound, and you can kind of get a sense, usually after wins, what the vibe of the team is like. We see, like, Patriots vibes are really good. Yep. Dan Campbell, we showed earlier. Yep. Ben Johnson has got the Bears feeling alive. There was an element in this article that was like, people catch up to us. They know what's coming. To me, sort of like the looming red light was, this whole team needs a coaching change.
That's when I listen to I'm drawing a blank on the name of the defensive end. Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy. Van Noy. When I listened to him a couple weeks ago, and he was asked directly a couple of questions about just the performance and coaching and different things, and his dismissiveness to respond or to answer some of those questions at this juncture in his career, and him saying, I don't have a lot of time left. We got to get with the program on both sides. It spoke volumes to me. I listen to people like that because
what you would say, like, what do you want the response to be?
No, he just refused. He didn't want to answer those questions when they were directing the question at coaching. You know what? I'm not going to touch that. That's above my pay grade. When guys start saying that, they've been talking about it in the locker room. I'm not going to divulge what we've been talking about in the locker room because that's not how I
And this article talked about that offensive guys were pointing the finger at Monken.
Yep.
It does seem like there is a discrepancy between how talented the players believe the team is and obviously their record. And the only thing to blame that on is coaching. If you think you have a good roster, and they certainly have a better than 1-5 roster.
They definitely.
That's unequivocal. And so but the problem is the Monken stuff in the article felt to me kind of ridiculous. Like, we are not far removed from Todd Monken getting there and Lamar instantly winning MVP, almost winning another one, and then this year before he got hurt, people were saying he was playing that he was going into the Chiefs game playing right. So the Zach Orr stuff is tough because it seems to me, reading tea leaves, Zach Orr right now is one real ally, and that's John Harbaugh, and that that it has not been working, and Harbaugh does not want to his credit or otherwise, relent on that front. That's how I'm reading.
They should be on the hot seat. Like, if this continues, this coaching staff should be gone at the end of the year.
If they lose to the Ravens, if they lose to the Bears, what does this mean for?
Look, they need to beat the Bears. I've been saying that for weeks, right, since Lamar went out. But again, in that division, 6 losses. You think maybe 8 and 9 might get out of that.
Are you going to say if they lose to the Bears, they're not done?
Yes.
No, Brew, you've said
if they lose to the Bears, they still have a shot in that division. Absolutely.
Brew, if they lose to the Bears with Lamar, aren't they just bad?
Until they are mathematically eliminated. They can't be this bad with Lamar.
Where is the goalpost?
With Lamar and Derrick Henry, they can't be that bad.
But they are. They have been.
Actually not, because Lamar's been out for
They
some.
actually
and
are.
they lost to the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Bills. That's 3 of the best teams in the league. 3 teams that none of us would be surprised if they're in the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, like, we know they had a tough schedule.
I get all that. But then, if they then lose to the Bears with Lamar and Derrick Henry in a must-win, I think we can say they're done.
It's not a must-win.
Coming out of the bye.
No, bro, it's a must-win.
Look, they need to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if they lose that game, I will not write them off until they are mathematically eliminated. That division, get in the tournament. Get in the tournament. That's what I'm saying.
Unbelievable.
Get in the tournament.
I mean, I respect the faith, but yeah, if they lose to the Bears, they're just bad.
It will be disappointing.
Disappointing?
It will be some of that. They're bad.
Yes.
There'll be some of that.
But you can turn around. They turned the defense around last year.
You're the best.
Y'all are acting like it. Is Lamar Jackson become a bad quarterback?
No, but they've won one game.
They played a murderous road schedule. You know this.
I don't know.
I mean, the 2 games they lost without Lamar, I think we all understand why they lost those games.
Well, except the Texans game, they allowed 40.
I mean, that was ugly. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, without Lamar, no one would expect them to win many games.
I know, but the Bengals lost their quarterback, and they're ahead of them in the rankings. And
Well,
I think
they
the
went and got
Browns
Joe
are
Flacco.
also lost their quarterback, and they're ahead of them in the rankings as well.
They'll be fine.
Okay.
They gotta beat the Bears.
Well, thank you. That's
But I'm just
not
saying,
necessarily.
don't expect me to come in here and just say they're done.
Okay.
Nervous
They
about the
lose.
Bears at home.
Okay.
The Bears ran roughshod over the Cowboys.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.